Where's the button?
Here's the button.
Okay.
Just like this. You can punch, you can hammer.
Hello, I'm here in Atlanta, just landed, got to the hotel, and I know what you're thinking. Check-in luggage. Let me explain. It's kind of funny. And it's funny because as someone who travels with just one bag for months and months on end, why the heck would I need to check in luggage? Because it's Blade Show, I'm bringing a few knives which are not allowed on airplanes, so I have no choice but to check them in. This luggage is completely empty. Even on this side, as you can see, is completely empty, and the only thing that was checked in is this one small little EDC pouch by Alpaca. Now, that being said, of course there's a possibility that I might buy some extra blades to bring back with me to Toronto, and spoiler alert, I did buy a few things which I'll share in a bit, but first, what the heck is going on, right? I mean, for the uninitiated, looking at the trade show floor, it can seem insane that there's this many people who are all here for knives, and you might be naturally wondering, why? And even if you've never even considered buying a knife, stick around because I think there's a fascinating lesson for everyone here. But to answer the question of why is similar to trying to answer the very same question for every trade show. Why does Comic-Con exist? Why do car shows exist? It's because there are enough people and companies who use, collect, buy, and make knives to justify its existence. Me, I use a folding knife every day I'm at the workshop. Some folks like weekend carpenters need knives for their hobbies. For others, the hobby itself is collecting knives in the same way people collect anything. And tons of people carry knives as part of their everyday carry kit, a useful tool to solve random problems. It's hard to convey the scale of 150,000 square feet of jam-packed tables and booths, so here's the showroom floor map. Companies with deeper pockets get booths over here, while individual makers get tables set up all through these blue and pink sections. Blade Show in Atlanta spans all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half of Sunday, so on day one, I just took it all in, trying to speedrun everything. Famous brands from Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, Chris Reeves, We Knives, and Civivi, all that jazz. And to everyday carry community faves like the notorious EDC, NAFS, and Big Idea Design with their Pete's Pirate Life cabin, and everything in between. Day two, I spent a lot more time at a few spots that intrigued me. The booth with the most interesting stuff to me personally, though, was Winterblade. I mean, everything would be illegal in Canada, but they have magnetic deployment, magnetic detent, magnetic dual action. There's a running joke with Eric at the workshop that if anyone wants to extract money from me, just put magnets in their product. But look at how satisfying these are. I finished off day two by wandering over to the Balisong corner, checking out all the butterfly knives and giving a few a twirl. Now, I had a problem. I wanted everything. I mean, check out these hilarious hot dog joints at the Blade HQ booth. But being a Canadian with a flight back to Canada, and Canada's knife laws which restrict things like that spring-assisted hot dog, I had a lot of limitations. This led to day three, which was the shopping day. And with those limitations, I decided to only allow myself to buy fixed blade knives with short blades. So nothing like my bushcrafter here. The fixed blade rule was set since knives with zero moving parts are unequivocally legal in Canada, and every border agent knows that. So what did I end up buying at Blade Show 2024? Knife 1 was from a brand I'd never heard of called Giant Mouse. With a Danish and American founding team, but with their manufacturing in Italy, I thought the story and provenance were super interesting. I was really drawn to their skeletonized fixed blades. I couldn't decide, so I flipped a coin and it landed on this guy. So unboxing now, I gotta say, I love the look and feel of this thing in hand. I have very little experience with M390 steel, so I'll find excuses to put it through its paces, but the whole vibe is something I just like a lot. I love the jimping here, here, and here for a really confident grip for various tasks, and the subtle branding on the blade and the Made in Italy under the handle are tasteful and unintrusive. Although I love the look and tone of the leather sheath it comes with their brand mark on the front and the Handmade in Italy on the back, I would have liked if they also included a more practical Kydex sheath. Knife 2 is hilariously small, so small in fact that I'm literally palming it under my hand with the sheath. It's by a small business I'd never heard of called Hanson Metals, but at Blade Show, laid out amongst their butterfly knives were these 4 fixies, and as someone who loves Tonto blades, I mean, my daily workhorse for years has been and continues to be this Benchmade M4 bailout, so I was instantly drawn to it. I'm gonna flip my hand over now and look at it. I have no idea what this would ever be actually used on, but aside from being adorable, on a more serious note, looking at the details, the angles, lines, and grind on this blade are all lovely. It's like what the Cybertruck wishes it could look like. But moving on to knife 3, this is the most important to me because it was found after navigating through this maze of tables through more than 500 individual makers to find a solopreneur with a small fixed blade that spoke to me. Real quickly first though, there were 2 non-knife things I wanted to grab as well. The bit driver by NAFS, which as you can see when I went, were sold out. Wah. But hey, I guess that's what happens when you save your shopping for day 3. But I did succeed in getting the other thing. The notorious EDC created this near cult classic everyday carry favorite called the Beer Bomb. So I was pretty happy that founder Tom brought a bunch to Blade Show and I picked up this titanium stonewashed version. This thing just looks cool. It will not see any pocket time, but it's just such a well thought out design, featuring a bottle opener, hence its name, a bit driver where the eye is, a flathead screwdriver at the nose, and pry tool and nail puller at the back. So happy to finally have one of these bad boys. But okay, back on track to knife number 3. After walking up and down all of these aisles with so many individual makers, I ended up right over here at table 17P, where a small fixed blade caught my eye. This is Dylan of Dak Knives, and this kid is just plain wholesome, and I can say kid because he's like 19 years old, and it's inspiring to see that his skill and passion has led to him recently being able to take on knife making full time. I picked up this small fixie he calls the Shrimp, and I think it's beautiful. When we pick up an item, it's easy to forget that every line, every curve was a deliberate decision, and when it comes to individual makers, those decisions are reflective of that person envisioning an end-user experience and doing justice to it the best way they know how. What I mean is this curve, this angle, where the grind starts and stops, going 4.2 mil, these were all deliberate choices Dylan made. The Tiffany blue G10 scales with pink liners are so far outside of anything I typically ever choose, but the uniqueness made me do a double take and reach for it instantly. This is my favorite part of trade shows, and to meet the person who made the thing, to be there when he fills out the info card by hand, to see how proud and supportive his father was manning the table along with him. Don't know if Dylan will see this, but if you do, I wish you nothing but the best success, however you define it. And like everything else I shared in this video, I've also linked Dylan's website down in the description below. In recent memory, this knife is a close second place for the best purchase interaction I've had. But if you want to see what is by far the best shopping experience I've ever had in my life, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. If you're feeling lucky, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen so you can choose which one to watch next, but while you're deciding, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drop.